bags where horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer. And following on from my Predator 2 review a few weeks ago, I decided to take a look at the Nimrod and Tal Predators from 2010, presented by Robert Rodriguez with the maybe slightly unusual casting of Adrian Brody. We've had it for many years now when actors suddenly decide to beef up for parts. It's kind of like it's happened quite a lot in the last 15 years, but then like you can kind of go back further. You have it with women as well, like Demi Moore, like G.I. Jane, for example. But yeah, this was Adrian Brody's chance to beef up, I guess, with Topher Grace as well. Not really sold on that guy, and I think he can fit certain parts very well, but yeah, I don't know, I can never take the guy particularly seriously. His character he kind of fit the character that he had in this movie, but well, yeah, you got Walton Goggins, Lawrence Fishburne, so you got some decent actors in this. But none of them fully gel. Even like, I know Lawrence Fishburne has this kind of like character that's been on his own for many years, and you can tell that, but I'm not fully sold on everyone within this movie. I'm not really sold on any of them. Walton Goggins is kind of like, and Danny Trejo's character, like maybe that those two kind of the best casting fits, but like others maybe not so much. But basically, we follow Adrian Brody to start. He's kind of parachuting. He's in freefall. And his parachute opens very late and he lands in this jungle in the middle of nowhere, and he's armed with his gun. He's like, he's actually a mercenary. And this is other parachutes dropping, and basically you have a few people are like fighting off against each other, and but basically you kind of get this group, this collective together, and they're all kind of different fighters from different parts of the world. You got like Yakuza, you got Cartel, like I said, his mercenary. You got people from like fighting in Russia, fighting in South America, fighting in Africa, and they've kind of all been picked. They were in the middle of fights and they got sucked out, and then they're all just parachuting. They don't know where they are, and they're trying to figure that out. Doesn't take long to figure out that they're not on Earth, basically. It's kind of like this kind of big game preservation sort of thing, if you think a bit like that. And it's the Predator's big game reservation, and it's hunting ground. Yeah, so we have 3 predators which are on the hunt for these guys. Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of testing out their skills and honing their skills and getting like better at like the hunts. That's why they kind of picked these like great fighters from around the world, and they're testing their skills out on them. Yeah, it's interesting. They're like kind of being hunted, so they're being picked off one by one. They're doing all these different kind of hunting techniques. We see these predator dogs. They're kind of these interesting things. Can kind of think like hunters, then send the dogs in to flush the birds out. That's the kind of thing that's happening with these dogs. Another kind of technique is like with this kind of clone. So it's like this thing running around, but it's just like this vessel, this clone sort of thing. Actually, when that thing's running around, that's when we get to meet Lawrence Fishburne, who's like I mentioned earlier, it's this character that's been managed to survive, and he's been on his own for many years, trying to survive in this this reservation world somewhere. So he's kind of like a little bit crazy, and he's a scavenger basically. Yeah, and yeah, it's kind of very straightforward. I said you have these different types of people. I mentioned, I'm sure most people have seen this movie, but I'll throw that there's spoilers in this. Like I said, there's the Topher Grace. He's like have all these killers, but then he's this doctor, and so they think, like, okay, maybe it's like they've got this doctor, and like maybe there's a possibility like to help them on the way through. But we actually find out he's like a serial killer. You kind of find that out later on towards the end, where he he kind of paralyzes one of the people. It's kind of like weird. It's like, why are you doing that? And it's kind of the strange thing is like, maybe I'm home. I'm at home with these predators. This is where I belong. I don't fit in Earth, but I fit in here. It's like, why are you not going to be buddies with these predators? They're obviously just going to kill you. It's kind of a strange thing. We get 3 predators. Like I said, there's like some cool fights and cool kills, like Yakuza standoffs with some samurai swords, explosions. There's kind of like a predator that looks like the original Predator, who's what was his thing? He's tied up. The other predators have tied him up. He's done something wrong or something like that, but there's a bit of a standoff with him. And it's kind of, it's very formulaic. There's nothing kind of exceptional in this movie. There's no real twists or anything like that. It's very, very, very simple movie. Bunch of people fighting predators in a bit to try and beat the predators and survive. You kind of go back on some of the different tropes of these movies, like figure out like they see with heat. So they cover, like Agent Brody's covering himself with mud, but then they kind of tweak these things and update them so they can see like vibrations of heartbeats and things like that through different visions. So there was like some thought, but like it's definitely like it's quite a gap between what was the second one, like 1990, and then 2010, and it's. For such a big gap, it's like it's I mean, it's a fun movie, but it's a bit of a weak movie. I mean, Predator 2 is not everyone's favourite. I gotta admit, I mean, I absolutely adore that movie, but it's kind of a well-worked sequel, and this is kind of like a little easy and lazy. I will just stick him in the jungle somewhere, this game reserve, and then they just run around killing and stuff like that. It's very, very simple, and it's kind of like they can write this in like a weekend. It's like, this will sell. We'll be able to make this movie, no problem. It won't cost that much money, blah blah blah. And it kind of feels like a bit rushed. Yeah, it's like the casting's a bit off, the story's a bit basic, and it's not the best film, but it is entertaining still. It is. I do find this like entertaining. It's like a switch your brain off and watch it. I find it a lot better than The Predator. I wasn't really into that one. It's one of these movies which were like, it's really, The Predator for me lost the essence of what Predator kind of was a little bit with like how it is written. It's like well, I'm not going to review that. That's a different movie. I'm talking about this one now. I mean, it's like a sequel that came 20 years later, and it's kind of very basic follow-on from like Predator and Predator 2, but within that basic follow-on, it doesn't really trip up. It kind of like, you can kind of take it as the third sequel. It kind of like the third movie in the franchise. It kind of carries on well. It just doesn't offer up any surprises, any like left field like things happening to it. But there's plenty of action. You get like predators in there, all these different soldiers from around the world, different killers, and it's like a fun movie put together. But anyway, that's the end of the review. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next week. Thanks. Bye bye.